This is an event to which I owe full credit to Pranav from ReFi by South for putting together. We're basically trying to create spaces to help founders in the regenerative finance space to get funded for the great work they're doing. Got some great people in the space. Folks are already propagating in. Maybe we just give a chance for people to say hey and check in and how they're doing on a Friday. How about you, Pranav? How's it going, sir?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. Really excited for this. Firstly, just happy to see all of these familiar faces again from our ReFi journeys. And thank you so much, Daryl, Sam, all of you, Heward. It's just great to be connecting here again. Very excited for this event here today. I think this has a lot of value for all of us in the space as we look forward to 2023, plan out our way forward in terms of how to build. Really excited for this, and thank you so much. Heartfelt thanks to the community. I think everybody's just stepped up and just ready to just come in and contribute. So thank you.
Really happy to be here today and kind of discuss this. I realize that for a lot of people, this conversation is kind of up in the air, and everything that's going on with the wider market conditions probably leads people to be a little bit concerned. And so we're trying to find ways to address that. In terms of generalized funding support, we've seen some challenges. And I think, as an organization with a lot of experience, we want to make more comprehensive support available and tie that to some of the funding. So that's the way that we're kind of approaching this now is something that is driving more collaboration. So we have several ongoing discussions with both Web3 and non-Web3 organizations in kind of the accelerator space and the funding space, where many of them, have additional capital to deploy and are suddenly becoming aware of this regenerative finance movement and are interested in getting involved. So the way that we see it is we can maximize impact by engaging with these organizations. And I think one of the good examples is the recent Future Crest round that we're participating in and trying to drive this comprehensive support plan where it's not only about funding, it's about providing that mentorship and engagement to ultimately lead you to a better point of success. And one would be the Future Quest round, and then we also are building out a Polygon Village, which is really Polygon-wide, which is essentially a community initiative. Now that the organization is getting to the point where it's very hard to manage relationships with all of these applications that are building, we want to create something that is a little more self-serve and give everyone equal access to opportunity when it comes to funding and this generalized support. So over the course of Q1, that is something that we're starting to build out, is this access point, and we just ran our first round. So we'll be opening up our second round of the Village Wonders program, which has a dedicated ReFi vertical. That's something that I would encourage everyone to pay attention to in Q1. We've seen really great success from our first round of cohorts, which was I think we had 11 projects in the first cohort. Many of them have seen really successful raises even before we came to the final demo day where they delivered to potential VCs and the wider audience. So that's something that I think is a great opportunity. But also, we're just generally looking for, the community to tell us, where can we provide support? Is there anyone you want us to work with to drive that engagement? And, we would love to get that input. So I'm really looking forward to the second part of this discussion as well, to engage with you and understand how we can actually, increase the impact of what we're doing, because there is, of course, to be fully transparent, some reductions in the strategy when it comes to how much capital we'll be deploying in 2023. We'd love to just hear from you what you would like to see us supporting. We do have some categories that we've identified specifically within this, more the regeneration or the sustainability movement, where we've targeted a couple of different categories that we will be putting a lot of focus on in 2023. So maybe I can share a little bit more about that later.
Awesome. Yeah, that was perfect. And I so appreciate the shift in sentiment to recognize it's not just capital that people need, financial capital, they also need human capital, and leaning into other networks that are providing various forms of support. I really appreciate that. And I just want to celebrate, the way that you and so many of the other people have come around cross-chain capital deployment, of saying we all need to go in this together and grow this movement for the planet. And I think it's interesting to recognize, we're in a bear market, and the way that we fund these grants is obviously through thematic token, as all these other layer ones have. And there's this interesting dichotomy between the value of that token and the network that's building on top of it. And there's this bear market challenge of like, how do you efficiently deploy that, capital, knowing that the market is down, but that it actually takes more people building on these networks to drive prices and activity and volume and, revenue back up. So delicate dance you guys are in. Super respect the challenge. I think y'all are doing a great job. And it's great to have you here in the space. I'll turn it over to you, Allison, at Climate Collective. You guys have been absolutely seminal in our journey at ReFi Podcast and ReFi Spring. We had a good session last night chatting about next season. Would love to hear, a similar update from you around how Climate Collective is evolving, what your grant funding is prioritizing, like what kind of projects you're really looking to prioritize, and any other updates that you feel are useful for people listening here today. You can take the floor.
Thanks, John. I'm Allison. I'm the community lead over at Climate Collective. We are an innovation network of scientists, nonprofits, entrepreneurs, and investors who are leveraging trusted Web3 infrastructure to scale climate impact. And one of the ways that we do that is through our grants program, which is what we want to talk about today. So looking back at our first year of operation, we funded 31 grants at a total of $3.7 million, both independently and in co-funding with Celo Foundation. We did that over 3 rounds. We actually just announced our third round earlier this week, and the sizes varied from about 10,000 up to 250,000. So there really was no standard project size. It really depends on the project's needs and their maturity level. It was a variety of projects that we funded. We ranged from podcasts like ReFi Pod to community on-ramps, white papers, multi-chain deployments, in-field experimentation, digital infrastructure. And that really focused around 3 core themes. The first was community building and networking. The second was scientific and R&D advances. And the third was supporting entrepreneurs and builders in the space of that infrastructure. We focused and evaluated projects on innovation for one. So like, what is it new that you're bringing to the space? Strategic alignment. So how are you helping us to advance our organizational goals? The efficiency of the approach. So are you collaborating with other initiatives that are already building and taking place? How are you leveraging what's already going on in the space so we can get farther together? And the sustainability financially of the project looking forward as a business, if it is profit earning. And looking ahead, we have kind of refreshed our mission and our strategy going forward. We're going to be honing in on our comparative strengths. So if year 1, we were trying a lot of different things, this year we're going to focus a lot more strategically. And our new mission is really to build a trusted and liquid market for high quality and verifiable digital environmental assets on chain. So in that vein, we're going to be focusing on supporting our existing membership. We have about 20 members of the Climate Collective, filling technology and thematic gaps that are promising but haven't really been invested in yet, and then helping us to strengthen the bridge between Web 2 and Web 3 builders. So how can we take advantage of that collaboration and that efficiency to achieve more together? So thematically, what we're going to be focusing on for the 2023 program is climate data. So unlocking new data types, interoperability of data systems, trust. So building more trust with legacy market players and infrastructure that addresses gaps in trust and concerns within the climate market. And finally, liquidity. So deepening supply and demand of these assets on chain. And specifically, what we'll look at, for example, would be value chain innovations like in the DMRV, the digital measurement reporting and verification space, and ways to enhance interoperability of our ecosystems. So, we see the future as multi-chain. We need to be building out applications that can work cross-chain, that can maximize adoption and thereby maximize our impact together. So I'll drop a link in the chat as well. If you want to learn more, you can fill out our intake form and we'll be happy to be in touch.
Super cool. Love how you're dropping specific figures, giving recognition of what the grant sizes you guys are allocating. I think there's a really interesting role that you guys play in bridging the climate movement with the Web3 space that is a delicate one. And also super great to see you here, Nirvan. Looking sharp today, sir, as always. I don't know if there was anything else maybe you can add in the breakout rooms later, but I also just, from a personnel standpoint, think you guys are a great team and been so excited to get to know Anna, the new CEO at Climate Collective, who is, in a leadership position at Meta for however many years, doing stuff at World Bank or on climate change, like has a really strong wealth of experience that I think, the ReFi space in particular will benefit from, as well as the planet, hopefully. So thanks so much. Ben and Colleen, do you guys want to give an update on the amazing world of Gitcoin, for which we are very grateful and wouldn't be here without? What's going on, guys?
So, as I'm sure you all know, Gitcoin's at a really interesting moment right now. We're in the midst of transitioning from our existing grants platform that you're all familiar with to this new version of the grants platform, which is in its alpha phase right now. And we're in the midst of just onboarding everybody who's been invited into the alpha rounds. So we're running a climate round in January from the 17th to the 31st. It'll be our first climate round on the new platform. And we're doing sort of an interesting experiment because the platform is in alpha. The decision's been made to only run 50 grantees through the round. So what we've done is we've taken the top 40 grantees from the last round based on the number of contributors that each individual grant got. And then on top of that, we've tried to include as many as possible of the other about 200 grantees overall. We had about 260 in total in the last round. So what we've done is we've created bundles, and by we, I should say, Colleen created bundles. There was a big group of us working on it, but she did a lot of the heavy lifting. And the idea is that we've broken down the projects in the climate round into categories based on sort of climate solutions use cases. And we've invited everybody who's in a bundle, plus one to that, Pranav. Colleen is a rock star. We've created exactly, Josh. Nice. We've created these bundles. So if you're in one of those, you've probably already gotten an email. It's possible that some of you are in a bundle, but maybe we have the wrong email address on file for you. So we're actually making a bit of an effort. We just had a climate team meeting right before this that Pranav was at with us, where we were just talking about doing one final outreach to everybody to make sure that anybody who wants to be in the round hasn't been left out. But the idea of these bundles is that basically it'll be one project proposal with somewhere between 10 and 25-ish grantees in each one of them. And the funds will be split between those in the bundle. If people just leave it and want us to deal with it, it'll be evenly split. But there's also the opportunity for folks to come up with other arrangements if they would like to. So it's an interesting experiment in coordination. It's been really cool to see the discussions happening already in each of these bundle groups. But really the brass tacks of what all of you need to know is that we're going to return to our normal cadence of grants rounds in March, basically after the Shelling Point conference. There's going to be a lot of talk and sort of the announcement and release of our full beta, our open beta for the Gitcoin platform, where we'll shift to sort of more like what you remember from previous rounds, where anybody could apply and participate depending on eligibility criteria. It wouldn't just be invite only like it is right now. I did see somebody ask if it was too late to apply for all the alpha rounds, just because of the complexity of doing eligibility criteria and fraud detection and defense. The decision was made just to focus on inviting grantees from previous rounds. So if you were in GR15, you should have gotten an invitation of some kind, either to a bundle or as an individual grantee. If you were in GR15 and you haven't, and you would like to participate, it's likely that we are sending emails to whatever email you had on file that may not be your primary email, or it might be one of your colleagues' emails, or maybe you've changed email. So yeah, feel free to reach out if you were in GR15. I see your message, David. It is not too late to make sure that you do get included if you weren't. But yeah, there are some folks who've slipped through the cracks. And you can reach out. Colleen's saying you can reach out to me. And she even has got a piece of paper to write it all down. Colleen at Gitcoin with one L, Coleen at gitcoin.co is Colleen's email address. If you do feel like you should have been in the round and you were left out, you can also reach out to me. I'm just Ben at gitcoin.co. Although I have to say Colleen tends to respond quicker. So yeah, maybe I'll leave it at that and just say the alpha round is an experiment. We have a UNICEF round happening right now. Really, we're looking for your feedback. Like, as much as we want to make sure there's ongoing funding opportunities for everybody, there will be at least $350,000 in the upcoming round. So, I mean, it's not like there isn't funding that will be available. It may even be more than that. So, definitely want to make sure that the funding continues for everybody as quickly as possible. But a big part of what we're trying to do is get feedback as well about what features you'd like to see, how you'd like to see the platform developed, and even what other rounds or sub rounds we may run in the future as the Gitcoin protocol becomes fully forkable and decentralized. There'll be lots of opportunity for people to use these tools to adapt these tools to do all kinds of interesting things with them. So if you have any feedback or ideas, genuinely, we're very much open to them. You've got those email addresses that we just shared. Feel free to follow up and give us any feedback about the UNICEF round, or as you start getting involved in the upcoming Alpha round, either as a participant or as a donor, or in whatever way, let us know.
Also, if you're interested in contributing to some of these alpha tests, there will be a POAP for each different test round. And if you collect all of them, there's going to be some special rewards. So maybe VIP tickets. We're not exactly sure how it's going to look, but it'd be worth giving a little bit and giving us some feedback, and also getting a POAP and then seeing what happens. So we encourage that from everyone if you're so inclined.
We're also looking for anybody who's got projects where you're collecting hyper certs or impact certificates of some kind, because we're looking at all kinds of ways that we can integrate those into Gitcoin Passport and trust scores. So if you have a project that is incorporating some sort of impact measurement or impact certificates, please let us know. And also, we have a community hub page where we're going to be talking about all kinds of opportunities that are going on in the space. So if you've got another grants round, like all the ones that we're talking about today, if there's events happening that you think people should participate in, or if you've got impact certificates that are available to people, we want that hub space to be useful for grantees and community members just generally. Josh,
awesome.
I'll stop.
Hey, you guys are amazing. The challenge of coordinating all these different actors in the way that you have, let alone, shipping new software, is major. And I know you're having to fundraise, like every quarter for this stuff amidst everything. So kudos to you guys. And yeah, very grateful. I mentioned we wouldn't be here without Gitcoin and the community support. Looks like we've got Masha here from Celo Foundation. Welcome, Masha. So sorry for not getting a calendar invite over to you. The challenge of having lots of different moving parts. Welcome to the ReFi Grants Roundtable, Masha. We just heard a short, 5-minute update from Polygon, from Climate Collective, also from Gitcoin. And just wanted to provide you an opportunity to share about what Celo Foundation is doing around allocating grant capital towards regenerative finance initiatives, how your strategy is evolving, what projects you're focusing on, and just any other updates that you think are relevant for people who are interested in building on Celo.
So Celo right now, our main focus for our grants program is, as it has always been, just open initiatives that support projects committed to the mission of building a financial system that creates conditions of prosperity for all. And we really believe that that can only happen by all of us working together and, different projects helping each other to create a beautiful vision together. So our focus areas for grants kind of fall in a few buckets. There's technical and research grants. So projects that are about innovation and development of the Celo platform and Celo wallets, ecosystem support, projects that are lowering barriers to entry and encouraging the accessibility of Celo to developers and our users, education and community grants. So projects or efforts aimed at educating and expanding our global community, and then social impact assistance projects that will, again, expand our reach and our community impact as well. We have a really big focus on ReFi, and we like to call ourselves the home of ReFi. I'm sure many on this call also garner that title as well. And then as far as where have we been in the last year or so, our grants program, as of 2021, we've committed 77.6 million total value of funds issued to 161 grants and 53 different countries. So that would be that was 2021's year-end wrap. We're still working on 2022, so that those numbers have gone up. The number of projects that we've supported has gone up. And the size of our grants really just depends on what the project is and where the project is at. We have an open application, though right now we are really emphasizing kind of referral-based grants in some ways. We support a lot of programs. We support the Kernel Climate Track, Celo Camp, ReFi DAO. And so we really like to see projects come from ecosystems that we are already kind of buddies with, and see what they've grown within those communities and how they can bring those benefits and projects to Celo, and how they can impact the Celo ecosystem as well. We also have a few different ways to get funding within the Celo ecosystem. So of course there's the Celo Foundation, but then we also refer a lot of grants to Nirvan at the Climate Collective. We have the Ocelot Fund, which is very much about experimentation. And then we also have Presenti, which is our community fund, which you can apply for a grant with them as well. We really encourage anyone who wants to get a grant to be active within our ecosystem. We want to see you in office hours. We want to see you participating in hackathons. We want to see you participating in our events and engaging with us. And that's a really huge part of our thinking around grants. We want to see you as a part of our ecosystem before we issue you a grant. I think something that is a really big distinguisher as well for when I have discussions with people about grants is, we want to see evidence of success. We want to see you already working on this project a little bit, or have some foundation for what you would like a grant for. I think sometimes there is a little bit of a difference between raising funds for runway for your project and also helping build a specific project that is going to benefit the greater ecosystem as a whole. So that's a big distinguisher that I like to kind of throw out there.
I think that covers a good base. And thanks so much, Allison and Nirvan from Climate Collective. Thanks so much for coming. Masha from Celo Foundation, Ben and Colleen from Gitcoin, and Stefan from Polygon. You guys are awesome. So appreciate the work that you're doing in this ecosystem.